He discharged me in front of the entire leadership group. His speech was sharp, rehearsed, and conceited. "Pack your belongings. You have 1 minute to tidy up your space." Hilarity spread throughout the conference room, some forced, some anxious. He savored it. My shame. I did not move suddenly. I did not plead. I simply looked directly at him, nodded once, and stated, "Thank you." Then I turned. My chair scraped the flooring more loudly than his voice ever could, and that was the instant 12. Technical specialists, my department stood up one, after another quiet as specters, and followed me out. Their quiet was more ringing than his derision. I did not need to peer behind me to know his self-satisfied expression had not disappeared. Not yet. Adam thought it was a triumph. He believed it finished right there. But I had been preparing for this event long before he uttered a single arrogant word. I first met him 3 years prior when he was still posing as a visionary. He had charm back then, the kind that conceals decay. He persuaded me to resign from a steady job to build a venture with him. He stated, "You and I will revolutionize everything. Just place your confidence in me." I trusted him. I created his product. I gathered the most brilliant engineers. I knew convincing them to leave secure salaries for an ambition. Together we bore his empty assurances on our backs, and he contributed nothing. Initially I overlooked the signs, the way he claimed responsibility. For my inventions, the way he silenced me during meetings, the way investors only registered his voice. But treachery is not a sudden occurrence. It drips. It stains slowly until you look down and realize your hands are covered with it. The final evidence arrived in an electronic message accidentally forwarded. A note to the board, "Replace her before product launch. She's an expenditure, not a collaborator." That was the instant my pulse slowed, not accelerated. That was the moment I stopped being devoted and began being calculated. I did not dispute. I did not challenge. I planned. I had been the creator of his enterprise. Every patent, every piece of code, every selection concerning personnel. What he did not grasp was that I had also been the architect of the framework, the agreements, the intellectual assets, the written records. He assumed I was merely a programmer. He never realized I studied law before I ever began typing on a keyboard. So I waited. I recorded every delayed payment to suppliers, every dishonest report to financiers, every antagonistic message he sent to staff. Bit by bit, I built a legal argument that was not just compelling, it was irrefutable. I quietly educated my group, cross-skilling them, guaranteeing their loyalty was connected to the actual work, not to him. They followed me not because I asked, but because they understood the truth. They saw who was creating and who was profiting illegitimately. I revealed my planning to no one, not even them. When he dismissed me, he believed he was cutting off the chief resistance. What he failed to see was that I had already severed the lifeblood sustaining his company. The patents submitted in my name, the source code hosted on servers. He did not manage the engineers, obligated by contracts that tied them to the project, not the corporation. The financiers awaiting official reports that I had subtly revised, exposing inconsistencies he signed. I walked out that day not empty-handed, but holding everything that truly mattered. Adam laughed heartily as I departed. He always laughed too loudly, like a man attempting to convince himself of his own strength. But his laughter ceased when the legal director stood pale, gripping a folder I had provided him the preceding week. "Call a barrister," the man whispered. Immediately. The mood in the room changed. Executives who had once chuckled at his jokes now avoided his gaze. He shouted commands, but no one moved. Authority had drained out of him more quickly than he understood. Meanwhile, I was already in the lift. 12 silent engineers at my back. None of us spoke. We did not need to. By the time the doors closed, the first notification buzzed on my phone. An investor withdrawing capital. Then another and another. One by one, his supports crumbled. He dismissed me publicly, believing humiliation was the worst he could inflict upon me. He was mistaken. Humiliation disappears. Reputation remains. Within a month, his corporation was devastated. The board removed him, citing impropriety and violation of fiduciary duty. The product relaunched under a new company, mine. Financiers followed the engineers, followed even the clients followed. And him, he was left with nothing but his arrogance. No empire, no praise, just silence. I did not elevate my voice once. I did not threaten, did not plead. I simply waited, then acted when it was essential. Justice, I learned, does not demand fire or rage. Sometimes it only needs forbearance sharp enough to cut. So yes, he allowed me 1 minute to clear my desk. But in that minute I left him the destruction of his own doing, and I walked away with everything. Treachery taught me control. Retribution taught me precision. And silence. Silence taught me power. Because the most distinct sound in that room was not his laughter. It was the quiet that followed when he realized he had already been defeated.